the first day of the week. Today we woke up at the Graymore camping area, which is in a spiritual center. So we had a little bit of a road walk to get back out of there this morning, but it was really nice and peaceful. Slept great last night around a lot of friends, and surprisingly a lot of people actually that I don't know yet. I think I've gotten accustomed to the luxury of knowing the people that are hiking around me, and all of a sudden some folks showed up that I don't know. So that was interesting to see. It's definitely the most through hikers I have seen all together in at least a month. We've been pretty contently in a bubble of not many hikers. We're kind of between groups essentially on trail, and I have loved that. But that might be changing, so that's okay. Today we are continuing our hike through New York, and I don't think there's anything too crazy on the schedule for today. We are going to the RPH shelter, which will make for about a 19-mile day, and yeah, I guess we'll see what we see. There is definitely rain in the forecast, but not for a few hours yet, so we'll see what shows up. We'll see what happens when the clouds roll off, because we are currently pretty well socked in. But other than that, I've been walking fast so far today, because when you slow down or stop, the mosquitoes get you. It is definitely bug season. I put on bug spray immediately this morning, and I'm hoping that all the permethrin I treated my stuff with continues to do its thing. So, hiking to get away from the mosquitoes. That's motivation enough. We just found the telephone of the wind. It looks like it is for folks who are grieving. Interesting. It is only 6 o'clock. It should not be this dark. We are siphoning water off of the roof. Good morning. We decided to call yesterday early because crazy thunderstorms were coming through. At about 3 or 4 came through all day. So we called yesterday short about 14 miles. We called the day 5 miles short from what we had planned. We are here at Canopus Lake Beach Shelter. I'm getting blessed. We're splitting forces a little bit. Some of us were really feeling like we needed a 0, which feels silly because we just took a 0 in New York City, but it did not feel like a 0. That was a lot of stimulation, and we still ended up walking like 10 miles that day. So we're taking another 0 to actually let ourselves rest and recover. We're just zeroing here at the shelter. The state park here does have a concession stand and a beach, so we have some resources available to us. And bubbles, obviously. So, yeah, we're zeroing here at the shelter today. We'll see how it goes. True hiker trash in the bathroom of the park. We got laundry going on, dishes, we're charging things. Also, my bear can, the oil exploded, so I had to wash all of my food and wash my dishes. But we're using the bear can to do laundry, so that's something.
What is getting muscle?
Good morning. It is time to walk again. Yesterday was a great 0. I did everything I wanted to do. I did some yoga. I did some janky laundry. I cleaned out my bear can, which had gotten pretty oily. And mosquitoes are bad, y'all. Just getting eaten up. This is hiking in the summer, I guess, but they're truly getting to be a lot. Today we're headed about 22 miles. There is a deli option in the middle of our day, but it's a half-mile off trail. So I think I'll decide if I'm going over to it based on the time that I get over to that road crossing. Delis are awesome, and you can basically deli hop in New York, but usually 0.3, 0.4 is my cutoff for what I will walk off trail. Past that, I really gotta think about it. So we might be going, but probably not. So pretty standard day of hiking. Yeah, headed to the next shelter. Not even back to the AT yet. I'm still in the Blue Blaze. And just found this beauty. Found a balloon in the forest, so I'm packing it out. And now I'm blue blazing to a deli. This is exactly what I wanted from a New York deli. Hello. Hi. Oh my gosh.
Considering that one doesn't have lake monsters,
nuclear. It could have sunfish monster.
no, I think the sunfish monster is like not a monster.
There's soft thunder rolling, but this is the best non-cloudy view we've had in a long time. One of my last for New York, I think, too. Just checking in. Today has been a good day. We thought we were gonna get a lot more rain than we did, so not complaining about that. It has been a day of hard conversations. Just kind of challenging our thoughts on why we're out here and what keeps us out here, because those two concepts can be entirely different. And the longer we're out here, the more that they change, which is fair and valid, but just something to check in on, because like I've referenced, the second half of the trail is where the mental game really is. And it takes a lot of mental fortitude to push forward and keep going. And I think for me, what I have discovered is that Katahdin is not necessarily the end goal. I mean, it is. I'm gonna make it. We're fine. I'm finding that the thing that's important to me is hiking right now and being joyful and happy and enjoying my time and seeing the things that I want to see. It's not to get to the end, as cheesy as the saying is. It's the journey in between that is important to me. And at the very beginning, I said that I didn't want to make it to Katahdin if I was just going to make it to Katahdin a bitter old woman. And that's so far from happening. And that has been so lovely to like do some soul searching on that front for myself, and really feeling confident and content in being out here, and feeling so strongly, barring something else that could pop up, feeling so strongly like I can do this. And we still have like 740 miles left only, and it's a distant light, but we can sort of see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point. but it is distant. So there is a lot of trail left to experience, a lot of memories still to be had. And today has just been one of those days of check-ins with the family and internal reflection. And man, my takeaway is that I'm so good. Nothing like a good little hammock hang and cleaning up camp.
I can't believe I didn't have to dig it.
Good morning. It's a bit of a foggy morning because of all the rain we've had lately, I think. It definitely rained at least a couple times last night, but I think the last time was around 11 or so. So things had time to kind of dry off a little bit over the rest of the night. My tarp is wet, but that is okay because that is the only thing that's wet, which means all systems are working. Today we're headed on doing another, I think it's 22. We do have Trail Magic from Queen Diva today, another state line crossing, lots of eastern newts already this morning. I'm seeing so many of them. And and then a short little resupply at a general store. I think that's kind of, oh, there's another eastern newt. I think that's 4 or 5 for the day, for the morning already. They really like this rain. It's been a rainy last several days, so I am looking forward to the fact that there is not a lick of rain in the forecast for today or the next couple days, unless it changes.
It's not the biggest, just one of the biggest trees.
This would be a lot more fun if these boards were not super slick. If I wanted to take the train to New York City again, I could do it right there. Honestly, I mean, do we need more blazes? So I got warned about this, but the end of New York here is trying to really make sure I don't miss it. We've had slick boardwalks today. This is the 18th blowdown, and the trail has been so overgrown. I don't know how to get over this. Connecticut, where are you?
You are leaving Connecticut. Have a safe hike.
Fried chicken with mac and cheese and root beer. Queen Diva has struck again. Dangerous trekking poles.
Hey.
On guard.
Oh.
Yeah. So beautiful. Bulls Bridge, crossing part of the Housatonic River. Just kidding, this is definitely Bulls Bridge, crossing another leg of the Housatonic. Good morning. Just coming from the Mount Algo shelter. You can kind of see it through the trees there. Sort of there. Just came back up the Blue Blaze and hitting the Appalachian Trail again. Super quick. The end of yesterday was pretty exciting. We had a couple harsh up and downs right before the shelter, and right where one of them changed from a harsh up to a harsh down, we saw 2 bears, and I got really shaky footage of it, but it was a big mama bear, and what we're guessing was a cub that was about a year old, so not super small anymore, but definitely still young. And that was really interesting to see. That's bears number 4 and 5, I think, for me. When we got to the shelter last night also, we met a ridge runner out here named Jem, and she was so nice and so cool and talked to us a lot about the whites. She said that actually part of her job is to ease people's anxieties about the White Mountains, and we're not immediately about to start those, but you know, they're coming up, and the fear mongering and things like that are beginning now. So it was really nice to talk to her and get a more realistic idea of what we're in for. We are definitely to the point where if I'm not actively doing something outside of my hammock, I want to be in it and under the bug netting because the mosquitoes are rough. I definitely got to the point yesterday where I felt like I needed to walk fast enough that the mosquitoes couldn't run their circles around my head. And that's just so annoying. I'm hoping that they will chill soon here, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna expect that they'll be around me until Katahdin, and then if they actually chill out at some point, that'll be a nice surprise. But today looks like a pretty decent hike. We are headed to the Belter's campsite, I believe it is. Not a shelter, just a campsite. And yeah, it looks like a lot of little up and downs and steep ones too. So today has about 5,000 feet of elevation gain overall, and that is a lot more than we have done in a long while. So I'm up and out early. Today was a 5 a.m. wake up call, which is my usual early wake up call. First thing this morning, I've got quite a harsh little downhill here, so I'm gonna wake up my legs and keep listening to the birds, which we're just all singing this huge chorus this morning when I woke up. It was so nice. All right, time to get hiking. Queen Anne's lace on both sides. If you can see through the trees, the sun appears red. It's because we're getting more of the smoke from Canada. I thought that it was gone. You can kind of see the ridge through there. That is all hazed by smoke. Fantastic. Hey, guy. Talk about steep this morning. How you doing, Moose? This is just straight down. The camera never shows it. What are these mushrooms? Hiking next to the Housatonic River, which looks extremely brown. But it's a nice flat trail. We got a really vocal gray catbird. Oh. So tiny, so bright. Just came up another super steep incline today. One of many. Wasn't sure where to go. But if you look here on the rock, we got a double blaze. We go through the rocks. Cool, cool. The inside of this shelter we just stopped at has a phoebe nest, an eastern phoebe nest with babies. Look at them. Oh, it's so dark.
Fun things.
Bugs. Good morning. I am up here on top of Belter's Bump. I don't know why it seems kind of sad to call the top of like a hill or mountain a bump, but it kind of does. Last night we stayed at the Belter's campsite. And yesterday for me was a really good day. I think for the boys it was kind of tough. For different reasons for each of them, but it was a lot of steep puds, which is pointless up and downs. Lots of going up just to come back down, just to go back up, just to go back down. But I didn't think that anything was too terrible. None of them were too terribly long. We had some really beautiful streams that I had not seen. I feel like I haven't seen since like Georgia and North Carolina. So that was really nice to be able to soak our feet. We also made a new friend and properly renamed him to Banjo because he carries and plays a banjo, which is whose music you might have heard from yesterday. And yeah, I think that those were the highlights. Met lots of people from outside of Kent, Connecticut, because we kind of blazed right by that town, didn't go in. Today we are going to town though. Today we're dropping into Salisbury because at least 3 of us, I think just 3 of the 4 of us, have packages we need to get from the post office. And we're going to hang out in Salisbury for a bit, charge up some electronics. I will probably be drinking up a cup of coffee, shocker, and then we will carry on to a shelter outside of town for tonight. So, yeah. The only other exciting thing, well, maybe exciting is not the right word, but we figured out last night when we are reconnecting with the girls, which is really cool. I don't love not knowing when that point is. I like knowing, you know, that we have a day that we intend to reconnect. So good things happening. Looking forward to seeing the girls again in a few days. But for now, I've got a pretty easy trek this morning into Salisbury. We've been doing an early rise time of 5 a.m., which feels really natural at this point. The birds are always calling and at that time of the morning, so I always give myself, and I always snooze, but then lay there awake and listen to the birds until my next alarm goes off again, which is really nice. And that still gives me time. Even with that, I am up and leaving camp about 5:30, so I've really got my stuff down to a system. But anyway, gonna carry on and knock out these 12 miles to town so that I can get that cup of coffee. I just came out of the woods from over there, found a road, and my favorite way that they've marked a road walk for the first time. Look at that. Appalachian Trail and a blaze. And down there on that sign is another blaze. Cool, going that way. Look at all these roadside lilies. Just waiting for the sun to open. That is gonna be a huge line of them right there. Preemptively beautiful. You can really feel it when your shoes are given out. These shoes have very clearly not been supporting my feet for about a week now. But I got new shoes at the post office. But I can really feel it. They definitely last no more than 500 miles, at least for me.
How often these have to get remade? You think?
New boot goofing.
Just when you have a group of people that have all met the test scores, then you can, like, diversity is an important thing to consider.
Good rainy morning today, or I should start with last night. After we left town, we got immediate trail magic, so we got delayed again. And then we hiked up here to the shelter, which was unfortunately already full. Everybody was aiming for the shelters. We came up here to Brassy Brook, and it was calling for rain, so we all came over to tent, and I was in my hammock, and things went great. I stayed totally dry. It definitely did rain though, so my tarp and all of that stuff is wet, but that's not a problem. And yeah, packed up this morning, was able to pack up everything under my tarp, so that was last, and everything that was dry got to get put away. So that was really nice. I haven't actually had to do that yet, so it was nice to actually do that through practice. But today we have a handful of tough climbs, and now everything is wet, and they're calling for rain today. So we'll see what happens, but the birds are chirping, and the forest looks really mystical. So we'll see how it goes.
Just do nothing. Sit outside the room and read all day.
Well, we made it to the tallest peak in Connecticut. How are we feeling, boys? How's the view?
The view's amazing. It's very dry. It's a very dry heat right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so sweaty that you can see it coming down.
Yes. It's the sweat of the gods. Okay, that was fun. Welcome to Massachusetts. We just got real gross from the rain and walked through that to clear off my shoes and calves, so that's cool. Traveling through the homelands of the Mohican people. I appreciate that they have the sign there. Definitely worth noting who originally inhabited these woods. This is what the trails look like all day. Wet, slippery rocks and slow going. But this is the closest thing we've had to a view all day. So I'll take that. Look how tiny. Itty bitty. That's my pinky. It's true.